Hi, hi, konnichiwa! No, I'm not authentic Japanese, but you know what is? Sushi Bar Kisu, located on Markham Place in Little Silver, New Jersey. Kisu means real Japanese. It's the best sushi in Little Silver. Enjoy karaoke on Tuesdays and Thursdays. Take out a free delivery when you drive to our location on Markham Place. Godzilla! Mabra! Sushi at low prices. Come to Sushi Bar Kisu, located on Markham Place in Little Silver, New Jersey. Chin chin, boy boy!
Hey, I just found my pen. Hi, welcome back, everybody. It is Mastication Station. We found you.
Wow.
Lee is here to tell you where we are, who our sponsor is, and looks like it is sunglasses night here at the station.
Actually, Tony, we're in the caves of Tennessee.
Oh, wow.
That's why this backdrop,
Okay.
I mean, the acoustics in here are wonderful. The backdrop is a cave. Supposedly they do a lot of music in the caves, kind of like Red Rock out in Denver.
Yeah.
I think that's out in Denver. So we're in the caves. So we're going to get a little feedback, maybe a little bit of, back talking and from the audience.
Oh, man.
But we have 3,600 guests with a margin of error of 30%.
Hey, that's pretty good.
So that number could fluctuate quite a bit in either direction.
Wow.
Yeah, I know. And our sponsor, we're really glad this guy finally stepped up. We've been trying to get him for a long time.
Okay.
Is Leo's rim painting and fish descaling.
Oh, I like that. That's great. That's
Yeah, so you can bring your car in loaded with fish, and he'll not only paint your ribs, but he'll descale your fish.
Oh, I like that. Wait, rims or ribs?
Rim painting, as in tire.
Yeah,
rims.
I see.
On one side, and the other side is, drop your fish off to be descaled.
Descaled, so.
Yeah.
Now, do you know the difference? How do you explain the difference, since we're in a cave, the difference between a stalagmite and a stalactite?
People ask me that all the time, Tony. You just have to think of hang on tight, stalactite.
Okay, from the
stalagmites go up.
Might go up. Okay.
Hang on tight, stalactite.
Yeah. It's
It's a calcium drip, limestone calcium drip. It's a fairly complicated procedure.
Yeah, I had
millions of years.
calcium drip in the hospital. So
That's what I heard.
yeah. Special guest with us tonight, Mary Ann Mings, has flown all the way in from Fort Wayne, Indiana.
Woohoo! Thank you!
And look what she brought. She brought this desk.
I know, I brought my desk.
She brought her desk. She had to check that at the counter. That's amazing. So you are the director of Inasmuch and Circles of Allen County.
Yes, I am.
And up in Fort Wayne, Indiana.
Up in Fort Wayne, Indiana.
So people have heard the name Inasmuch. What is that? What does that even mean?
So in the King James Version of the Bible, Jesus said to his disciples, "Inasmuch as you have done for the least of these, you have done for me."
Okay.
So it really means that you're doing something for somebody else. But most people don't read the King James Version Bible anymore, so they have no idea what that means. So that's what it means. It means that when you do something for the widows, the orphan, the poor, the prisoner, the people in poverty, you are doing it for the Lord Jesus Christ.
So your group or your ministry, I suppose, who do they serve, and how do you do that?
So we serve on the corner of Washington and Broadway in downtown Fort Wayne, Indiana.
I've heard of it.
Right
In one of the
downtown.
busiest corners in Fort Wayne, Indiana. So we have a food pantry, and I will tell you, it's extremely well balanced and organized. So we have a food pantry, we have a clothing bank. We give people bus passes to get to doctor's appointments or to get groceries or to go to job interviews. We help individuals get their birth certificates. So
nice.
It's a big deal for
Now, why do they
somebody.
need a birth certificate?
So people who have been homeless or people who have fled a domestic situation don't have their birth certificate. So we help them get their birth certificate, and then they can go use it to get their Social Security card. They can get a driver's license, and then they can get a job and move their lives forward. And then we help individuals with financial assistance for housing or utilities. And then everyone that comes in, we share the gospel with them, and we pray with them. And, given that less than 20% of Americans attend church on a regular basis now, We're kind of the frontline defense
Yeah.
for Christianity on the corner of Washington and Broadway in Fort Wayne, Indiana.
What is? Do you need sunglasses?
I do,
She needs
actually.
sunglasses. I forgot to ask her.
I do. I was hoping you
Like,
would ask.
show that
These might hurt
that's pretty good.
What do you think?
Well, the lights
How
really
about-
makes it glimmer, but you want to try the other
I
ones?
do.
too?
Now, you know,
Yeah, those are
With
pretty
some,
good.
with some bling bling.
Those are the.
I think these probably look good.
Might be the Aretha
Are the other
Franklin.
ones new?
I don't know. You want to try those?
Let's
That
try
might
it.
be the same as what Lee has.
Are these like yours?
Oh yeah.
I got twinsies.
I
That's
got
surrounded.
it. Let's
It's
go.
it's like we're on Mars.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah,
like
in
we're
a
in
cave.
Mars. In a cave.
What is the biggest need that you've seen people have that come for the services?
Well, it doesn't have to. That's a good question.
Right now, the biggest need is help with, we're seeing a lot of people requesting food because the food benefit, the increase to food benefits was cut back in September.
Oh.
So people have become dependent upon it, and then when it got cut, so we've seen a big increase in the need for the food bank. But the other thing we've seen the need for is housing and utility help. We are seeing people coming in asking for help with their rent because their rent has been raised 40 to 50%.
40
Yeah,
to 50%.
That's amazing.
Wow.
And a lot of them, their housing complexes have been bought by an individual in New York that has now they own over 2,100 units in Fort Wayne.
Oh.
And some of those places, they are no longer taking housing choice vouchers.
Okay.
So people are needing help to pay their rent so they're not evicted, so that they can then have a little bit of time to go look for a place they can afford. But I also will tell you, I think a lot of people are seeking more than financial assistance or food. They want somebody to listen, and we listen to them. And they want to know, is there a God? And if there is a God, does he care about me? And then sharing the love of Jesus Christ and then praying with them. So we have a number of individuals that come on a weekly basis, and really all they want is just, we know their names, kind of like, and her family is on the East Coast, and they call me every couple of weeks just to ask if she's okay.
Really?
That's
and
nice.
I tell them, yes, she's fine. She's here once a week, and we talk to her, listen to her, pray with her, make sure she's okay.
That's got to be reassuring for the family from so far away,
Yeah.
hearing that.
Yeah.
Howdy, y'all. This here's Mike. Down at Mike's Golf Shop, where we buy golf. That's right. We buy golf clubs. Mike's Golf Shop. Come on over here. We buy golf clubs. Over at Mike's Golf Shop. Come on down here. We buy golf clubs. That's right. We buy golf clubs. We buy golf clubs. We buy golf clubs. We buy golf clubs. We buy golf clubs.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
you, in as much as one thing, the other one I said is circles.
Yes.
So, what is, do you just draw?
We do not just sit around and draw
Okay.
circles.
I didn't know if that would help. We got a
Leonardo
couple
da
we
Vinci
use for-
kind of
We
thing
could
there.
draw around circles.
Yeah.
So, Circles was started about 30 years ago, and it's across the U.S. and Canada, and it is a way to help people get out of generational poverty. It has an overall 63% success rate across the U.S. and Canada, which is huge.
63%.
So, if a person shows up for the first meeting, 63% of the people that show up get out of generational poverty, which
Really?
is a huge number. So, the highest poverty rate in the state of Indiana is in Fort Wayne. So, yes.
That surprises me.
Yeah. What is also surprising is that in the United States, there are 3,169 counties in the United States.
Oh.
There is only one county in the United States that houses the highest and the lowest in the state in that one county, and that is Allen County, Indiana.
Really?
Fort Wayne, Indiana is the only place in the United States that has the highest and the lowest poverty rate in the city.
The highest poverty
and
rate.
the lowest.
And the lowest. Now, how do you have the highest and the lowest?
So
That's weird.
They're in poverty rates are they are designated by zip codes.
Oh, okay, okay.
So, but like I'm from Illinois, so the highest poverty rate in Illinois is in far southern Illinois, right? The lowest poverty rate is outside of Cook County, where all the industry is. 400 miles apart, and that's what most counties are. There's a big difference in the highest and the lowest. There's less than 5 miles.
Wow.
Between the highest and the lowest.
So
and
is it income based?
What?
Is it kind of income based?
It's based on the income. Yeah, that's how poverty rates are
Because you
determined.
think of it, you drive in like southern, I've heard southern western Allen County, you've got huge homes and and then in downtown and south and the southeast.
And even
part.
within that, you got pockets.
Yeah.
Yes.
Within that.
Yeah.
Yes.
Very diverse.
And then there is a large section of Fort Wayne, Indiana, that the life expectancy is 17 years under the national averages.
In Allen County.
In Fort Wayne.
Oh, in Fort Wayne. Oh my gosh.
17 years under.
Wow.
So when I was hired by Broadway Christian Church, the pastor and the elders asked me if I could not only expand in as much in what we do for situational poverty, but the individuals who come in that are in generational poverty, help them get out of generational poverty. So I said yes. So I know some individuals across the country who have done circles chapters.
Okay.
And so, and the pastor at Broadway Christian Church knew someone that also had a circles chapter. So we said, let's try circles. So we signed the contract at the end of May of last year. And Circles said to us, well, it'll take you about a year to get it started. And I said, no, it won't, because there's a need in this community. So we started the first one October the 3rd.
You don't move slowly. Do you?
No.
I don't move slowly.
Warp speed. You don't move slowly.
Don't. And when we're done, I am running out of this cave.
Running out of here. Yeah, quickly. Water rises. So why does Circles work? Why does it work?
So, the person who started it, who originally started it, he worked in social work in Iowa. And he said to his coworkers after about 20 years in social work, he said, I don't think this works. He said, because I saw, SpongeBob, and then I saw the kids and the grandkids, and now I see the great-grandkids. And he said, we're not doing anything.
It's
and
just a
cycle.
Cycle, not circle.
And the coworkers all said, well, that's just the way it is. Accept it. And he said, I'm not going to accept it.
Wrong answer.
And even though Circles itself is not faith-based, the man who started it is a Christian. And he based the model on the Bible. And so it is all built on the concept of relationships. Because if a person is in generational poverty and they have a problem or a crisis, the only people they have to ask are the people around them who are also in generational poverty, who don't know they don't know the answer either. So we started October the 3rd. We meet once a week. We share a meal together. We have childcare. The first 12 weeks we do training on trauma, financial literacy, what's an emergency account, how to set a goal, how to communicate effectively, what does an employer want. But we have the individuals who want out of generational poverty are called circle leaders, because they're the leader of their life, and they need to understand that. They need to understand that they can take charge and they can move out of their situation.
Are those people that were in poverty before and got out of it themselves, the leaders?
The leaders are the ones that are in it right now.
Okay.
And then the allies are the peer support. And those are individuals who are not currently in generational poverty. A big part of the group we have, they came out of generational poverty. And so you match them up to walk the journey with them while you're doing education, while you're doing training, while you are bringing in other people to help grow their social capital, their network. And I will tell you, we had started in October, and in end of November, one of these circle leaders reached out to all of us and sent an email and said, XYZ just happened. I do not have any idea what to do, but I know one of you will. Can you tell me what to do? Now, keep in mind, she just met us like 4 to 6 weeks prior, but she already knew, and I don't. She wasn't asking us for money. She was just saying, what do you do in this situation? And immediately we all said, well, you do X, Y, Z. But she didn't have anybody to ask. She didn't have any friends who weren't in the same situation she was. And so now, our circle leaders are working on, getting jobs and setting up savings accounts. And one of them had started college years ago and then crisis after crisis. And now she is working on getting back into school in the fall to try to finish that bachelor's degree. So that's what we do in Circles of Allen County, and we're looking in the next few months we'll start a second cohort because people are calling us all the time saying, when are you starting the next one? When are you starting the next one? So
everything that we're talking about, what drives you?
What drives me is Micah 6:8. And Micah 6:8 says, and what does the Lord require of you? But to act justly, love mercy, and walk humbly with the Lord your God.
Okay.
And that's what he asks us to do. And he asks us to care for the widow, the orphan, the prisoner, the poor. And part of that is helping them see that they were put on this earth for a purpose. They have a purpose, and they have self-worth, and they are loved by the creator of the universe. He loves them, and he doesn't want them to be in an abusive situation, or he doesn't want them homeless, and he doesn't want them living in a house with mold. He wants them to thrive. It doesn't mean he wants them to be Bill Gates, but he wants them to be where he has called them to be.
I heard that you have a really good friend named Charlie Bucket.
Charlie Bucket is the best.
Oh boy. All right, settle down, everybody. Settle down. So who is Charlie Bucket?
Charlie Bucket is my dog.
Oh.
So Charlie Bucket was found in Oklahoma, actually.
Wow.
And he was found in the woods, and he had been horribly abused and beaten and starved. And he was found, and he didn't have any fur, and his teeth were a mess because it looked like he had been thrown from a moving vehicle.
Wow, really?
And he had been eating dirt and rocks, and he weighed nothing. So they took him to a kill shelter in Oklahoma. And I was in Illinois at the time, and the shelter in Illinois where I knew all those people, they went to Oklahoma to get puppies. And they got there, but before Charlie Bucket was going to be put down. And they said, don't put him down. We'll take him to Illinois, and we'll find somebody we can convince to try to save him. His name wasn't Charlie Bucket at the time. His name was just Poor Little Dog. So they bring him up, and I knew somebody there, and she called me, and she said, my dog before Charlie Bucket lived to be 20.
Wow.
So she called me and said, could
like
you
the
come
oldest
over
dog on
and
record.
look at this poor little dog and see if you think you can save him? And so I walked into the animal shelter, and here's this little puppy with no fur, and his teeth were a mess. He had a malocclusion going and scared to death. And I looked at him and I said, well, looks like you just got the golden ticket. I'm going to name you Charlie Bucket after Willy Wonka. So, within a few weeks, Charlie Bucket, he had fur. I'd straightened his teeth. He gained weight. He's got his tail in the air. So I took him back to the shelter, and the shelter said, oh, my goodness, that can't be the same puppy. And I said, well, it is. And they said, well, why don't you just keep him and do it? So that's how I ended up being my Charlie Bucket.
How much were the braces?
They actually brought in like a dentist from Brookfield Zoo.
Oh.
And he taught me how to straighten his teeth. So we worked every night straightening his little malocclusion. So now he's got straight teeth.
You have a video of that?
So you gotta be careful when you don't get bit.
Yeah. Well, thanks for coming. Oh, is there a website, or how can people help to, all the circles in
yes.
Inasmuch?
So we have two websites. We have inasmuchfw.org,
Okay.
and then we have circlesofallencounty.org. So either one of those, they can go and donate money.
Okay.
They can call us. They can stop by at the corner of Washington and Broadway. We'd love to have people get involved and help us with this really good cause of helping people move their lives forward.
Are you ready for a little challenge? Can you handle
I'm ready.
a little challenge?
I'm ready.
It's showtime.
Charlie Bucket owners go first.
You should go first.
She's letting you go first
She's letting me
because
go
she feels
first.
sorry for
A
you.
mulligan.
Seems a little complicated.
I hope you have the bottom end good.
It's a wacky game.
I know.
It's just wacky. Do you play this often?
Every 45 minutes.
It teaches good social skills.
Yeah.
Was it?
Yeah. Oh, look at that. Oh, boy, I better do this. I blocked her.
Yep.
Okay. Oh, but she got 4 in a row anyway.
I did!
She gets the prize. She gets the bat.
I get a bat!
There is a side. There is a
Use
backstory
at your
to the
discretion.
bat. But
Very
Do you know the
nice.
bat? Do you know the story?
Of bats?
I got bit by a bat
I did
she
not
got
know
bit
that.
by a bat.
in Fort Wayne, Indiana.
There's a lot going on in Fort Wayne.
I had to have 12 rabies shots.
Those were probably not comfortable.
I woke up and he was on my knee, staring me in the eye.
Oh my gosh.
It's you versus him.
Yeah,
Mano a mano.
yeah.
So did you gently remove him or did you swap him?
I screamed and I kicked him off.
There,
And
there
then
you go.
I jumped up and I scooped him up in a towel.
Yeah.
And I got him outside, and then I went down to the emergency room and said, I believe I might need rabies shots. And then everybody there starts screaming at me.
Oh, why?
And I said, why are you screaming? And they said, because you got bit by a bat. And so then everybody in this whole hospital has to come down and look at me like, oh, she got bit by a bat, right?
Yeah.
And
A
I
vampire
thought,
bat.
I hadn't been in Fort Wayne, Indiana very long, and I sat in the emergency room and I basically said, I'm going to go home and get Charlie Bucket and my clothes, and I'm leaving Fort Wayne, Indiana.
Here we are. In Tennessee. So. Well, thank you, everybody. Thanks,
Thank
you,
you.
Mary, for being
Thank
here.
you.
Yeah.
Thanks for letting me wear these fun glasses.
So you have to have
Total
glasses
retro.
like that page,
This
so-
is Retro Day, you know
It is,
that.
it is retro?
It is National Retro Day.
International Retro Day.
You have to know these things when you're a genius.
Yeah, yeah. All right, well, we'll be back after this, everybody. Buffet's open, and there's going to be some fish in there, so
He's scaled.
we'll be back.
Thank you.
You have fun?
That was so fun. Was that okay?
That was great.